The vast chamber of the Galactic Council felt like standing inside the heart of a living star, quiet, humming, ancient, and impossibly immense. Delegates from nearly 100 species formed concentric circles around the center dais, their bodies, scaled, furred, crystalline, or gaseous, shimmering faintly under the soft halo lights suspended high above. Every being in the arena was watching. Every breath, every twitch, every shifting pulse of bioluminescence was focused on a single figure standing alone in the center. A human. And not a decorated ambassador or general or scientist, not someone trained for diplomacy, not someone prepared for this moment. He was simply Elias Ward, the quiet maintenance engineer who had accidentally been brought into the room because of a systems failure in the evaluation chamber, a man who kept to himself, a man the diplomats had mocked for being just a technician, a man the alien staff treated as if he were invisible. And now, impossibly, he stood where the ambassador should have been standing. The whispers began instantly. Why is the human worker here? He is not trained for the evaluation. He is ordinary, unvetted, unworthy. Elias felt the heat of their stares. He never liked crowds, much less crowds of alien VIPs who could turn Earth's future with a single vote. His palms were damp, his throat tight. He wanted to disappear. He wanted to go back to the maintenance conduits where he belonged, where no one looked at him, where no one judged him. But fate had other plans. And fate, as Elias would learn, had a sense of drama. Because today, the highest telepath in the galaxy, the Velnathi Mindseer known as Viril Thalon, would perform the mandatory mental evaluation. A simple telepathic touch, a brief reading of emotional harmonics, a scan of species traits. It was meant to be routine. It was meant to be harmless. It had been performed on 14,864 species. Not once had a telepath ever panicked. But humans were still unknown, still new, still unmeasured. And that was the moment everything changed. As Viril glided forward, tall, willowy, pale as starlight, its obsidian eyes swirling like bottomless wells, the chamber fell into a thick and anticipatory silence. Velnathi rarely showed emotion. Their kind was known for their calm detachment, their serene grace. Their voices were smooth waves of thought, always even, always composed. But when Viril stopped in front of Elias, the alien stiffened. Thousands noticed it. A slight delay, a subtle hesitation, just one fraction of a second, but enough to ripple confusion through the entire chamber. Still, the telepath continued. Human Elias Ward. The council requires a mental resonance evaluation. It will be brief. Do not fear. You cannot be harmed. Elias swallowed. He wasn't afraid of being hurt. He was afraid of being judged. He was afraid of representing an entire species wrongly. He had never even wanted to be here. He was only fixing a damaged energy coil when the chamber doors locked and the automated protocol mistakenly assumed he was the designated human subject. The ambassador was stuck 2 levels below in a stalled lift. Elias tried to explain. The council didn't listen. Humans were too new, too unknown. And so, Elias Ward, maintenance worker, introvert, invisible nobody, became the first human to undergo the test. Viril slowly reached out a hand. Its long, silver-tipped fingers hovered mere inches from his temple. Elias closed his eyes. The audience leaned forward. The moment stretched. Then, contact. A cold, electric rush shot through Elias's skull. His knees buckled, breath catching. It felt like 1,000 memories flashed at once. Childhood loneliness, nights fixing broken machines alone, silent meals, the quiet ache of never being noticed, never being chosen, never being enough. But then Viril saw more. Much more. It saw the memory Elias never spoke about. The one that lived in his chest like a quiet scar. The day he risked his life during an accident at the Earth orbital construction ring. The day he saved 7 lives by forcing open an emergency airlock when the system jammed. The day the world called the engineers heroes, but Elias stayed silent, hiding in the back, letting others take the spotlight. He wasn't ego-driven. He didn't want praise. He just wanted people to be safe. Viril's mind dove deeper. And that was when the universe broke. The telepath froze. Its obsidian eyes widened. And then, Viril screamed. It wasn't a scream of pain. It wasn't a scream of fear. It was something older, primal, cosmic. A sound that made the chamber tremble, a sound that made every delegate flinch, a sound that made Elias stumble backward in shock. And then, before anyone could react, the telepath collapsed. A being belonging to one of the most mentally resilient species in the galaxy. Unconscious, fallen, shaking. The arena erupted into chaos. Cries, accusations, gasps of horror, security protocols activating. The human has attacked the Mind Seer! Restrain him! Humanity is hostile. This is an act of war. Dozens of armored guards stormed inward. Elias put up his hands, voice shaking. I didn't do anything. The diplomats he'd worked beside for months glared at him with disgust. He sabotaged it. He's dangerous. He should never have been allowed here. One delegate, a towering reptilian ambassador, hissed loudly. This worker, this lowly human mechanic, is a threat. Elias's chest tightened. There it was. The prejudice, the dismissal, the humiliation. Invisible until needed. Disposable when convenient, ignored until blamed. But suddenly, a different voice echoed across the chamber. Stop! Every being froze, because the voice belonged to High Sovereign Velatri, leader of the entire Galactic Council. Graceful, ancient, bioluminescent, with 4 shimmering wings of energy, Velatri descended from the upper dais and approached Viril's collapsed form. The telepath was trembling violently. Velatri touched its forehead. A wave of golden energy rippled outward. Silence. Then, a message. Not spoken out loud, not whispered. Broadcast telepathically to the entire chamber. A single sentence. The human is not what you think. Gasps. Shock. Confusion. Delegates whispered, what does that mean? Is he dangerous? Is he powerful? Is he unstable? What did the telepath see? Velatri rose slowly, turning toward the council audience. Then, the sovereign spoke out loud, each word heavy, deliberate, trembling with awe. The telepath did not collapse because the human harmed it. The chamber held its breath. It collapsed because the human's mind contains something no Velnathi has ever encountered, something impossible, something extraordinary. Elias blinked. What? I don't understand. Velatri stepped closer, luminous eyes softening as she studied him. You do not know, human Elias Ward. You cannot know. Your species has not yet discovered what lies dormant inside you. Elias shook his head. I'm just an engineer. I fix things. I'm nobody. Velatri's wings brightened. No, Elias warned. Not today. She stepped aside so all could see him clearly. You are the first human whose mind a Velnathi has fully touched, and what Viril saw was so vast, so overwhelming, so ancient, that the telepath's body could not withstand the resonance. The whispers swelled. What did he show? What power does the human carry? Is humanity a threat or a miracle? Velatri raised one hand. Silence fell immediately. The uproar inside the Galactic Council chamber was unlike anything the station had ever experienced. Delegates pushed back from their curved seats, wings flaring, frills rising, tentacles tightening, scales bristling, crystalline limbs darkening in shock. The entire arena seemed to vibrate under the weight of rising panic. Dozens of species spoke at once, their voices overlapping into an overwhelming storm of fear, suspicion, and disbelief. Impossible! Humans are primitive. How can one carry an ancient memory? Mind-seer Xyril must have been damaged. No species holds pre-galactic echoes. This is a threat. This is evolution. This is dangerous. Elias felt like the air had thinned, like invisible hands were tightening around his throat. He stepped backward, pressing against the smooth metallic rail of the dais, his breath trembling, his pulse hammering against his temple. The world around him blurred. The lights, the towering forms, the echo of voices, all of it swirling around him like a vortex he could not escape. He wasn't special. He wasn't powerful. He was just a man who liked quiet mornings, fixing broken conduits, and going unnoticed. But now the galaxy was staring at him as if he were a bomb waiting to explode. Xyril, still lying weakly on the floor, lifted a trembling hand toward Elias. The memory, it was not yours, and yet it beats inside your mind as if it belongs there. I saw the echo of an ancient presence, older than time, older than the first council, even older than the first worlds that learned to speak. Velatri stiffened. Xyril, you must explain precisely what you saw. Speak clearly. But the telepath's voice was filled with something Elias had never seen in a being so revered. Fear. Inside the human's mind, I saw a figure, brilliant, towering, blazing with cosmic light. Not a god, not a mortal, something between, an ancient, one of the first travelers. And then I heard a voice, soft, broken, buried deep beneath his thoughts. Xyril pointed at Elias again, voice shaking. It whispered a single sentence. The chamber leaned forward. Elias swallowed hard. What did it say? Xyril's lips trembled. It said, "We are not gone. We are waiting." A violent hush fell over the entire chamber. Delegates stared at Elias with wide eyes, as if expecting him to explode with cosmic fire at any second. Several guards raised their weapons. One ambassador shielded its hatchlings. Another muttered a protective chant. Fear spread like wildfire. Elias stammered, I never heard any voice like that. I don't know what you're talking about." But the fear around him only sharpened. No mortal species should hold an ancient echo. This human must be quarantined. He could awaken something catastrophic. He must be isolated immediately. He is a danger to all. Elias backed away until his spine hit the railing. His breath hitched. His voice quivered. I didn't do anything. I don't even know what's inside me. I'm not a threat. But no one listened. No one except Velatri.
The High Sovereign stepped between Elias and the crowd, her wings brightening like a golden shield. "All of you, stand down. The council will not act rashly. Not today." "A creature with an ancient echo is not a creature," the reptilian ambassador hissed. "He is a ticking catastrophe." Velatri's tone hardened. "He is a living being, and he will be treated with respect." "Respect?" another ambassador scoffed. "For a mechanic?" Elias felt the words like a stab. There it was again. The dismissal, the belittling, the prejudice. He could save lives, work tirelessly, serve quietly, and still, no matter what, they saw him as lesser. A nobody. Velatri turned to Elias with a warmth no one else offered. "Human Elias Ward, you are not responsible for what lies dormant inside you. Knowledge of it does not make you dangerous." Elias tried to speak, but his voice cracked. "Then why are they treating me like a monster?" Velatri gave him a gentle, sorrowful look. "Because the unknown has always frightened the weak-hearted." The telepath struggled to sit up. Every movement seemed to hurt, but Xeral forced itself upright, gaze fixed intensely on Elias. "I need to confirm something. I must look again." Before Velatri could stop it, Xeral reached forward, but when his fingers were still a meter from Elias's temple, Xeral gasped and jerked backward as if burned. "No, no, I cannot touch him again." Xeral's eyes widened. His mind is like a sun hidden behind a mountain, quiet, still, but if you get too close, Xeral shuddered. "It feels alive." "Alive?" Elias whispered. "What does that even mean?" Xeral lowered his gaze. "There is something in you, Elias Ward, something ancient, something that should not be there." The reptilian ambassador slammed its fist against the railing, making the chamber shake. "I call for immediate confinement. The human must be restrained until we understand the threat." Elias's heart lurched. "No, no, I swear, I'm harmless. Please, don't lock me away for something I can't even control." Guards moved forward. 6 armored alien enforcers approached with containment bands and energy cuffs designed for hostile telepaths. "Stop!" Velatri's voice boomed with such authority that every guard froze mid-step. "No one touches him." Her eyes hardened. "No one restrains him. No one shames him." Velatri's wings expanded in full command. "The council will recess immediately." An emergency gong reverberated through the chamber. Lights dimmed. The audience fell silent under the sovereign's glare. "This hearing is adjourned." Velatri stepped to Elias's side. "Come with me. You are safe." Elias followed her even as hundreds of eyes burned at him with suspicion and fear. His steps felt heavy, as though the weight of the entire galaxy had been placed on his shoulders. As the doors sealed behind them, Velatri guided him down a quiet, crystalline corridor. Elias finally exhaled shakily, rubbing his temples. "Why is this happening? I'm just a maintenance worker. I fix water pumps. I don't have cosmic memories. I don't have whatever that was." Velatri walked in silence for a few seconds, choosing her words carefully. "Sometimes," she finally said, "the universe hides its greatest wonders in its quietest souls." Elias shook his head. "I'm nobody special." Velatri stopped walking. She turned to him fully, her golden eyes warm, piercing, sincere. "Xeral did not collapse because of danger," she said softly. "It collapsed because of awe." Elias looked confused. Velatri continued, her voice low and steady. "The telepath saw something inside you that even you do not know. Something powerful, something noble, something ancient beyond comprehension." Elias swallowed. "But what does that mean? Why me?" Velatri's expression softened with compassion. "Do you know why telepaths fear ancient echoes?"
Elias shook his head. Because they were the first beings capable of reshaping reality with nothing but thought. They could create life, heal worlds, calm supernova storms with a whisper. Their compassion was the binding force of galaxies. She touched his shoulder gently. And Xeral saw the reflection of one inside you. Elias stared at her, stunned, overwhelmed, terrified. But I'm not them. I'm not powerful. I can barely speak in front of a crowd. I get nervous ordering food on a new planet. How can I be anything like that? Vellatri offered a small smile. That is exactly why you are. They walked deeper into the private wing where ambassadors usually met in small groups. Vellatri guided him into a meditation chamber made of translucent quartz panels. Soft light pulsed through the walls like the heartbeat of the station. You need to understand, Vellatri said gently, that the Council will not easily accept what Xero revealed. Prejudice thrives in unfamiliar territory. Elias rubbed his forehead. So what happens now? We wait, Vellatri said. Xero will attempt to recover its clarity. When it does, it will explain what it saw with full detail. But I'll be blamed until then, Elias whispered. Vellatri's silence confirmed it. Elias lowered his head. This isn't fair. No, Vellatri agreed. It isn't. Elias sank into one of the soft floating seats. The weight of humiliation pressed down on him. He thought of home. He thought of the quiet corners of the orbital station where he used to eat alone. He thought of how small he used to feel. And now he felt even smaller. Why do they hate me so quickly? Elias whispered. Vellatri sat across from him, folding her wings down.
The guards surrounded Elias with swift, disciplined movements, their armor humming with containment field generators strong enough to restrain telepaths, shapeshifters, and even plasma-based life forms. Elias staggered backward until his spine hit the glass-like wall behind him. His breaths came sharp and shallow, his hands trembling not from the fear of being hurt, but from something worse. The fear of being treated like a monster. Vellatri stepped between him and the approaching guards, wings flaring with radiant gold. You will not take him. The commander, a broad, six-limbed creature armored in violet plating, stood tall. The council has issued an emergency protective order. Xero struggled to rise. No, he is not a threat. But the commander snapped coldly. Your collapse proves otherwise, Mindseer. That is not what happened, Xero rasped. Regardless, the commander said, raising the containment sphere, he will be isolated until we understand the cosmic imprint inside him. Elias's voice cracked. I haven't hurt anyone. Please don't do this. I'm not dangerous. The guard didn't even look at him. You are unknown, and unknown is the greatest danger of all. Elias's chest tightened painfully. He had lived his whole life being overlooked, ignored, and underestimated, but never once had he been feared. And somehow, being feared hurt more. Vellatri's voice thundered through the chamber. If you take him, you violate Article 7 of the Council Charter, protection of emergent species from prejudice. This is not prejudice, the commander hissed. This is survival. Elias's legs shook, his vision blurred. Vellatri turned to him gently. Elias, listen to me. You are safe. No matter what happens, you are not alone. But before she could say anything else, the guards lunged. Vellatri moved like a blazing comet, wings striking one guard aside while she erected a shimmering barrier with her free hand. The commander barked an order, and a dozen more guards surged inward. Elias was forced back again. His mind raced. I can't fight them. I can't defend myself. I'm just an engineer. I never asked for this. A guard grabbed his arm, forcing a containment band around his wrist. And Elias felt something deep inside him tremble awake. Not a voice, not a power, not a will. A presence. A warm pulse in his chest, like a heartbeat that wasn't his, a memory without images, a whisper without words. It will be all right. He gasped softly. The Star Keeper echo. It felt him. It responded to his fear. Not to control him. Not to take over. To comfort him. The guard tightened his grip, dragging him toward the containment pod. Velatri shouted, "Stop! You violate galactic law!" The commander snarled, "Take him, now!" Elias closed his eyes tightly. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't want any of this." A silent tear rolled down his cheek. And that was the moment everything changed. The guard yanked him forward. And the moment Elias's tear fell on the floor, the room vibrated. A soft hum rippled outward from his body. A glow, gentle, pale gold, seeped from beneath his skin like sunlight rising beneath water. The guards froze. Velatri gasped, wings lifting in shock. Zirel's eyes widened in awe, and Elias, confused, terrified, shaking, could only whisper, "What's happening?" The hum grew stronger, but it wasn't violent. It wasn't aggressive. It felt soft, safe, warm, like the heartbeat of a caring universe. The commander stumbled back. What is that energy?" A guard shouted, "He's activating a cosmic weapon." Zirel snapped, "No, that is not a weapon." But fear spread faster than truth. 4 guards raised their pulse rifles. Velatri stepped forward to shield Elias. "Lower your weapons!" But the rifles hummed, aimed directly at Elias's chest. Elias's voice broke into a whisper. "No, please, don't hurt me. I don't—" A shot fired. A bright pulse of blue energy blasted toward Elias, and Velatri teleported in front of him, taking the blast to her wing. She cried out, falling to her knees. "Velatri!" Elias shouted, reaching for her. But the hum inside him suddenly surged. Not in anger, in protective instinct. The golden light radiating from him grew brighter, swirling like a gentle storm. The floor beneath him glimmered with patterns, ancient, unknown, geometric. Zirel stared, breathless. "It's awakening, but only to defend." The guards panicked. "Deploy full restraints! He's activating something. That energy is destabilizing." Velatri stood again, protecting Elias with her own body. "Stop! You are provoking a non-violent defense mechanism." But the guards didn't listen. The commander roared, "Fire!" 20 pulse blasts shot toward Elias and Velatri in one blinding wave. Elias froze. Time seemed to slow. His breath caught. His heart clenched. And something inside him, the spark, the echo, the memory, unfolded gently like a flower blooming in the dark. Not to destroy, but to protect. A dome of golden light blossomed outward, stopping every beam in the air. The pulses dissolved in the shield harmlessly, as if absorbed into warm sunlight. The guards stumbled back. The commander collapsed to one knee. This is impossible." Velatri stared in awe. This is compassion made manifest." The golden dome slowly receded. Elias staggered, breath shaky, the glow fading as quickly as it had appeared. He looked at his hands, still trembling, still his own. "I didn't mean to. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone." Velatri touched his shoulder softly. "You didn't. You protected. And protection is not destruction." The commander, terrified, pointed a shaking finger. "He is a threat. This is proof." Zero snapped with rare anger. "He only responded to violence. You attacked a peaceful being." But the guards weren't listening anymore. They were afraid. More afraid than ever. "Activate the emergency null field! Seal the chamber! He must be subdued!" Velatri stepped in front of Elias again, voice powerful. "I will not allow you to imprison an innocent." "Innocent?" the commander shouted. "He carries a cosmic entity." "He carries a memory," Velatri corrected. "Not a monster, not a weapon." The commander snarled, "If you won't stand aside, Sovereign, we will remove you." At that moment, Elias made a choice. A painful, shaking, impossible choice.
He stepped forward. Velatri grabbed his arm. Elias, don't. He looked into her eyes. Tears shimmered in his own. I can't let you get hurt because of me. This is my mess, my whatever this is. They won't stop unless I stop it. Velatri's expression cracked with emotion. You deserve protection, respect, dignity. Elias gave a small, sad smile. Maybe, but right now, I just want peace. He turned toward the commander. Okay, Elias said quietly. I'll come with you. Just stop hurting people. Please. His voice broke on the last word. The commander stiffened. For a moment, something like guilt flickered across his face, but fear crushed it. Restrain him. Elias raised his hands. The guards approached slowly, nervously. Velatri looked shattered. Elias, no. Zero whispered, there is more courage in this human than in half the galaxy. A guard reached to clamp a suppression band on Elias's wrist. Elias closed his eyes, but the band never touched him, because the chamber doors burst open with a thunderous boom. An entire battalion of elite council sentinels marched in, bearing the crest of the High Sovereign. Behind them, with authority blazing in her stance and wrath radiating from her luminous wings, the High Council matriarch herself entered, the galaxy's most powerful leader, the only being with higher authority than Velatri. Her voice cut through the chamber like a blade. Enough! Everyone froze. Even the airs seemed to stop moving. The matriarch approached Elias, her eyes glowing with a deep, ancient light. She looked at him, not with fear, not with suspicion, not with humiliation. With recognition. You, she whispered softly, are the one the prophecy spoke of. Elias blinked. Prophecy? No, I'm no one. I'm just... You are Elias Ward, the human who died, the human who returned, the human who carries the echo of the last Starkeeper. She placed a steady hand on his cheek. And the most important detail of all, you are kind. The commander sputtered, Matriarch, he is a cosmic hazard. The matriarch's gaze turned sharp as a nova eruption. Silence! The commander fell backward, trembling. The matriarch stepped forward, wings spreading in radiant authority. Hear me all, council members. Fear has